haven't seen you in a long time. So.
I'm counting through the weekend, so.
Counting ahead.
Yeah.
Jay, they don't get a lot bigger than this as far as the hype, right? So everybody outside of your locker rooms got their ideas of what this weekend's going to look like. What do you want your team's ideas to be about?
Yeah, it's the most important weekend because it's this weekend. I think our guys have done a great job respecting the schedule and showing up ready to play, ready to compete. And you'll need to do that this weekend. It's an incredibly talented opponent on both sides of the ball, great pitching staff, arguably probably one of the best ones in the country, explosive position player group, and know how to win. So it's going to be a fun weekend, and I know our players are looking forward to it. We got 7 more of them in a row if I'm doing my math right. So focus on this one, attack it, and then get to the next one.
What are your thoughts on the job that Tony's done with that program?
I respect him a lot relative to the recruiting. I mean, I think I said this last year before we played them. You could kind of see that coming, as far as the work that they were putting in. Josh Elander, his recruiting coordinator, does a terrific job as well. Frank Anderson's a great pitching coach. So, they're just like everybody else in the SEC. They have great players, and looking forward to the challenge.
What separates Tennessee's starters from the rest? They're starting pitchers. I mean, they're pretty exceptional all the way through.
Exceptional, yeah. They are all back from last year, and they execute. They execute multiple pitches for strikes. They have velocity on the fastball. They have breakers that go down. They soften people up with the changeup, and they throw strikes. And that's kind of the characteristic of the pitching staff is they're around the plate. They're going to make you beat them in the zone. And, they do a terrific job.
With the amount of talent that's on the field this weekend, just curious what the scouting numbers might look like in terms of what this weekend beholds.
Yeah, I mean,
how that benefits you guys as a program.
Well, I can't imagine there's a better place to be in the country than, watching Paul Skeens pitch and Dylan Cruz hit. And that could go on and on. Trey Morgan, Jordan Thompson. I don't want to leave anybody out. Ty Floyd, and then they have similar type guys on their roster. So great weekend for college baseball, great weekend for LSU baseball in terms of, the pro side of things.
There's also a lot of first-round talent on both teams. Potentially, I'm just wondering if you could speak to what you've seen out of like Chase Dolander, Maui Ahuna specifically, and guys that are even maybe 2024 like Chase Burns, Drew Bean.
Yeah, in terms of their roster, looking at Dolander, he's been incredibly consistent. And that's the hallmark of a good pitcher. Whether you have your best stuff or you don't have your best stuff, do you give your team a chance to win? He certainly does that. Like I said, 4 pitches for strikes, fastball, climb up there to 98. Sliders in the zone, changeups in the zone, throws to both sides of the plate. So high-level pitchability, which makes him a great pitcher and a good prospect. As far as Ahuna, had a great year last year at Kansas, really good bat speed, good defender, all-around player. As far as the rest of the rotation, we'll start looking into those guys, through tonight and the rest of the weekend. Really preach the one game at a time mentality with the team, and so I try to take that in my approach to scouting as well.
When you get a 1v1 like we're going to have tomorrow night, does it create more juice within the team?
I think our guys, again, have done a great job of making the game in front of us important. I think they're super into it. They showed that last weekend. We faced a really good team with pro players all over the field last week, and they showed up ready to play. It was the same the week before that. It'll be the same next weekend. And so, we don't label a whole lot of stuff. It's about execution, and it's about being in the right mindset to get to the execution. And I trust this team a lot in regards to that.
I think we asked a couple of weeks ago, like, your philosophy on closers, and like, would you rather have like one guy you kind of go to close most games, or how has that kind of changed for you over time?
I don't think it's changed. I think we've scored a lot of runs. I mean, we haven't really been in a ton of those situations, to be honest with you. And I hope that continues to be the case. And I think our offense has done a great job. Our defense has done a great job. Our starting pitching has done a great job. I am very confident in several guys that we can bring into the game. Very confident in Garrett Edwards, very confident in Chase Shores, very confident in Nate Ackenhausen, very confident in Riley Cooper, very confident in Christian Little. I really believe in our bullpen. I think what happens is, you have that one outlier game maybe because we've been so good. Like, it's easy to point at that, but you wouldn't be doing the full work if you didn't look at all 25 games. And that grouping has pitched really, really well behind the starters. So I don't think we have to be pigeonholed into doing one thing because there's so many guys that can get the job done.
Both Jared and Cade have had opportunities at first base. Just what do you like about what they do defensively over there? Those two guys?
Yeah, I think it's kind of more about Trey, his ability to do a number of different things. I had a player make the opening day roster for the Astros last year, one of my players at Arizona, Cesar Salazar, which, man, that's awesome. Like, I mean, it's 5 years in the minor leagues. He was a 7th-round pick, but it was whatever the team needed. And this was a catcher, so that's the difference. But played through injuries. Trey plays through injuries. You need a big hit. He always got a big hit. Trey gets big hits for us. And his selflessness to move to the outfield while we were sorting through the injury thing really opened up a lot of options for us. And so now it forced Jared into time and it made him a better defensive player. And that adds versatility to it. Cade is a guy I've continued to want to get more at-bats for, and I'm giving him at-bats right now because we're a better team right now when he's in there and is really coming through and lengthening the lineup and gives you mature professional at-bats. And, Josh Jordan works with those guys at first base every day, and I'm confident that all of them can do the job over there. And it really helps when you have position flexibility or versatility, lineup flexibility. It's a good thing, and we're in a good place with that right now.
Has the sheer talent that Jared and Cade have brought to that position allowed you to be more just open to the idea of putting Trey in the outfield and being that responsible?
Yeah, I think it was out of necessity initially when we did it because, I mean, if Tommy was healthy, he's going to hit, so he could only hit for a 2.5 week period. And so shuffling the deck a little bit to get a good balance of offense and defense. I really liked how we're pitching, have liked how we're pitching. I've liked a lot how the defense has supported that. And I found myself initially not wanting to give anything up on the defensive side of the ball because we're going to score. And those guys helped us do that. And it's not every year that you have that. And so I feel very fortunate that, those guys have manned that position, pretty well. All three of them, whoever's been over there.
Did last week's series opener kind of help to give you a reset to understand what it takes each and every game?
I don't think so. I think we had a great pitching performance by Paul and by Chase. They had a great pitching performance by Holland and Smith. I hope I'm saying his name right. And I think it was a tight game, and I think they got a couple good at-bats late in the game and got a big hit. And I think that's it. Maybe the crowd was amazing last Friday afternoon, and you might have to ask our players, but I think they thrive on that. I think they certainly thrived on it all day on Saturday. But it's just a game at a time. And, it's not football or basketball, and you have to reset quickly. And I think these guys know how to do that. I think we have zero complacency on this team in terms of they know what they need to do to prepare well. And you got guys like Paul and Gavin Dugas and Dylan that really know how to prepare and have set a good model for that. And I think, we're not going to stay in the tank long. either, because the game's hard. They understand it. They understand how to get up from failure within the middle of the game or after a game, and that's a good thing, and that's a good sign.
Good?
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks.